in the last video, we've done huge positions. We opened two great positions. I'm going to show you how they look today. They expired yesterday, and now we're going to be opening together another pair of options for tomorrow. So let's take a look at the yield that we got from last options that we sold, and now we're going to sell more options together and understand why the market crashed so hard as it did today. So let's dive right into it. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're looking at $61,500 for Bitcoin and $2,500 for Ethereum, which is a loss of around 2% for Bitcoin and 5% for Ethereum. Why did it fall so much? Well, we have a plethora of different answers that we could give you, but for me, none of them are very concrete. So I won't even try to start explaining that to you if there's one major catalyst or any other catalyst. But one news that makes the more sense is that Nvidia is not performing as well as they thought they would be for the projections for the future. So that was hurtful for the stock market and for crypto itself, since there's a lot of AI in the crypto space itself, and it pushed the total market cap for crypto down by a little bit. So that is one of the many things that you're going to hear about the crash, the little fall that we had these days. But nonetheless, for us, nothing happened, because if you remember on the last video, which by the way, if you haven't seen, it is a really good video, you should go look at it and react to it. But we opened two positions. We sold two puts, a put on Bitcoin and a put on Ethereum. So let's take a look on how they went. If we look right here on the topics, we did 0.73% on the Ethereum put, and we did 0.64% on the Bitcoin put. Now, if you watch this channel, you know these numbers are unusually odd for us, mainly because I try to keep it as high as 0.5% per option that I sell on 0DTE options. But this one was a little bit over 0DTE, so it was 27, 28-ish hours to expiration, which gave it a little bit more premium while still not having the huge risk that a 0DTE option that would be paying the same amount would have. So that was very good for us, and I'll for sure be testing it out on the back end to test if this is a good strategy for us to deploy in the future. But meanwhile, we have so far Bitcoin and Ethereum going down, 3% for Bitcoin, and as I said, 5% for Ethereum. So let's take a look on what we're looking at right now and what can we expect for these two assets. So for Bitcoin, you can see that it is trying to touch the 100 EMA, so the 100-day moving average. Here it bottlenecked, and it broke the bottleneck for the Bollinger Bands. You know, I like using Bollinger a lot. I think it is one of my favorite, if not my favorite indicator ever. So you can see that once there's a bottleneck, it usually precedes a huge movement to one side or the other right here. So if I had caught this right at the bottleneck, I would have for sure opened a put position to take this percentage right here, almost 2% from the time that it broke the bottleneck here. So where do I think Bitcoin will go? Will it go down? Will it go up? If we look at the daily chart, we see that Bitcoin moved a lot. So now it is testing the medium average for the Bollinger, which is also a little support here that we can trace all the way back. Will it hold? Will it not hold? Well, we have to wait and see, but we have two things that are for certain. First of all, that by tomorrow, it won't be back up here again, because it felt so much that if it gets something back, we will be looking at 63.5, maybe less, if there's a green candle from today to tomorrow. So we could be looking at selling a call right here, but maybe a premium for the puts are still very good and very juicy because everyone thinks it's going to fall down more. So there's a little bit of gamble that we could take. We could go a little bit safer and sell a call, or we could go a little bit risky, get a little bit more premium because of the direction and sell a put. Maybe I'll put at 60,000. We're going to be looking in a little bit at the strikes and the premiums that we have with the strikes. So let's do the same thing for Ethereum. You see Ethereum is falling harder. It broke to the EMA and it broke through Bollinger. You can see these huge candles closing outside of the Bollinger. They are a little bit bullish for me, more than bearish. You can see there's a lot of volume at the bottom. You can see this huge green candle, 162 million in volume sold. So that is quite a bit. But if we go to the daily here, you can see that compared to August, it is nothing. This fall right here is very tiny and it is inside the box still. This one left it for just a little bit, but it does not mean that it broke the box. It just tested the ceiling. It went a little bit above, touched the Bollinger and went back down. And the bottom of the box is actually very strong because it held once, twice, 3 times here. So maybe this time it could break, but also could not break because we already tested it before and it held strong. But again, we're seeing that the Bollinger here is funneling. So let's take here, for example, the Bollinger here funneled and then it moved towards one direction. The Bollinger here funneled and then it moved towards another direction, another funnel right here. And this funnel is looking very similar to this one. So it could mean that it will break downwards here. We are not very certain about this, but we could be seeing a doji right here. This is the pattern that they give to this candle, or a morning star depending on tomorrow's candle right here. If it is a little bit above, we could be looking at a bullish scenario right here, like it kind of did right here. This one is for sure a morning star with a doji at the bottom. So we could be looking at this again on the green side. So this gives me a little bit more bullishness as well, meaning that here a put could be safer than it is on the Bitcoin side, but a call could be juicier in return when talking about premium wise. So let's take a look at both. 2 puts, 2 calls that we have to analyze here on Bitopics to see the premiums that we have. So for Bitcoin, we most likely are looking for 63.5 or 59.5, maybe 60. So let's take a look at these numbers and see what we have. So let's start with the call. We're looking at 63.5. Let's see if we have this strike. We do. We're going to be looking at 1.54 in premium for 750 deposited. So we're looking at a 0.2% in the day. That's a little too low. So let's look at the 63K and see what it is. Now we're looking at $5 if I can calculate correctly. So we're looking at $5 for 810 deposited. Now we're looking at over 0.6%. This is getting a little better, but again, is it risky? Is it too risky? We'll have to decide later. So now let's look at the put side for Bitcoin and look at the 59. We don't have 59 and 500. So let's take a look at 59. We're looking at 1.5 again, 1.54. But here we have less margin. So maybe this is worth it for us. We're looking at a 0.23%, which is better than the other one that we saw, but still too little. It could be too little. So let's take a look at the 60K, see if it makes sense for us on the premium side. So for the 60K put, we're looking at $4.10, which is right around that 0.50% per day, which is amazing. So selling a put at 60K is now the one that looks best. We have to see how far away are we from that price. So we are 2.5% away from that price. And today we already fell down by 2%. So we will have to go down in 24 hours, a total of 4.5% for it to reach 60K, which I don't think will happen. So this could be a good one for us to open. So let's actually go ahead and do this. Let's open the 60K for Bitcoin and sell this put. So we're going to go on sell and yes, and our position was open. So now we're going to switch to Ethereum and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to look at the calls, and right here we're going to look at around 3%, maybe 3.5. So 3.5 is around 2650, and 3.5 below we're looking at 2450. So 2650 and 2450. Let's start with the 2650. So the 2650 gives us a 5.54%, which is around what we want as the top yield that we can get per day. And again, we're looking at 3.5%. When we already have fallen 4.5%, it means that we would have to get back 2% from what we just lost in the last 24 hours, which is doable. So this maybe is not the one for us. So let's take a look at the put side right here, and we'll look at the 2450, I think it was that we said, and here we're going to go with 3. And for this one, we're going to be looking at 0.49%, so right at 0.50% per day. And here we would be looking at 2450 for Ethereum, and 2450 is right at 5% below. So I don't think we're going to fall more, again, because we tested this multiple times, and I don't think Ethereum will fall another 5% on top of what it just went down today. So we're going to go for 2 puts again, like we did before, and we're going to close that position. So let me do this right now. 3, we can even go for 3.5. So we're almost at the $1,000, which is how much I want to risk per strategy per day. So 1K is the number for me. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but if I didn't, the 1K is the total collateral that I want to risk per day in my total size of the position of the portfolio that I have. So I'm going to click right here, sell, yes. So if you look below, you can see that we have the 2450 and the 60K. Both are puts that we sold on Ethereum and Bitcoin, and we've made around 0.5% per day here on both of these options. So let's mark them on our charts like we usually do. So for this one, we're looking at 60K, and here we're looking at tomorrow, bam, right here. So we have around 2.64% to go here with Bitcoin. And for Ethereum, we're looking at the 2450. Let's mark it right here. And this one will go around here. So for Ethereum, we have 5% to go and 16 hours left. So 16 hours for both to make 0.5%. I think that's very decent. So let's hope this goes in our favor. For Ethereum, we have this support right here holding us, and I'm hoping it will hold again, or at least hold long enough for my option to be totally out of the money. Same thing goes for Bitcoin. We have here this stop right here that could hold Bitcoin for a little while. Again, same thing applies. I just needed to stay away from 60K for at least 16 hours. And then if it goes down, it doesn't really matter to me. So let me delete this. So I hope you guys enjoyed. And another thing that I want to show before we end is that our copy trading is doing fantastic. Now on August, we're looking at 5% that we made on August here with the 0DTE strategy on the topics, which you can copy. So you don't need to open your own position. You just deposit right here and it does that for you. And you can see we've been winning hard. So May we did 3%, June we did almost 11%, July we did almost 15%, and now we're at 5% in August, which we still have a few days to go. So we might even get to 6%, who knows? And so far with this position, we've crossed the 600 bucks. Now we have 605, which is over 21% in just a matter of 2.5 months. So I got in June 11th. Now we're finishing August. So 2.5 months and we've made 21%, which is ridiculous. So if you want to follow along, I showed you, there's a video showing you on how to deposit into Bitopics and another one showing you how to deposit into the copy strategy itself. So make sure to check the first link in the description. It will help me if you go to the link. So make sure to check the link in the description, and then you can just come right here in the copy trading and deposit straight into the strategy. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on Friday. Take care.